Hello, hello. Welcome to Inklings with Irina, the weekly energy show connecting you to your intuitive guidance system. And today, the three big things that everyone misses when it comes to decision making and how to avoid them. Hi there. If we haven't met, my name is Irina Miller and I'm an intuitive energy coach. And I've been guiding visionary women, executives, and entrepreneurs for the last 2 decades. And so I have a lot of client stories that have collected over the years of just these moments in time when my clients and people just like them have had this opportunity to make a big decision and they ended up in an interesting spot. So that's what I want to talk about. Now, before I get into all of the details, and hello, Katie, fabulous to have you. I want to share a little story with you first. Now, this story is about a woman who is an executive, and she has worked very hard and long to get to where she is. She has the training and the education behind her, and she has important decisions that she has to make on a daily basis, whether it's at the job or at home. Now, she also knows that there is something beyond the logical because even as an engineer, she has a lot of tools in her cabinet that she can pull from, lists that she can make, mindsets and affirmations that she can use, but somehow she can just sense something is missing beneath the surface. Next to her bed, on her nightstand, she has a pile of at least 10 books that she's reading on and off simultaneously. And in that pile, you might find stories like Brene Brown's Daring and Braving the Wilderness, daring for greatness and braving the wilderness. And you might find books by Elizabeth Gilbert like Big Magic, or heck, maybe even James Redfield's The Celestine Prophecy. But she's searching, she's seeking for an answer because she knows there's something more. Because when she looks at her habits and patterns, as she does as a logical mathematical background, she realizes that something is out of step. And when it's out of step, what she's discovering is that, what's that missing piece? What is that area where my plans are failing me? How did I end up here again? And this is what I want to talk about. These are the 3 steps. Now, the very first step is beating yourself up or, them, right? I'm not talking about you because you don't beat yourself up, I'm sure, right? But in this situation where they're beating themselves up for making the same mistakes again or ending up in the same type of job, it's a different company, but similar experience, same kind of toxicity. How did this happen again? Now, what I do is I bring my clients, whether it's on a one-on-one basis or in my group program, I create a unique blend of sacred and modern practices, both modern and ancient, to help them practice the art of forgiveness towards themselves. They can be so hard on themselves. And when that happens, there's an opportunity that's missed. Then all of the mindset work, all of the affirmations that you try to layer over it, just like Stuart Smalley. Did you ever see that old SNL skit, the Saturday Night Live skit, where Stuart Smalley would talk into the mirror and he'd say, I'm good enough and I'm strong enough and gosh darn it, people like me, right? Sometimes I feel so silly saying affirmations at times because I feel like Stuart Smalley. I mean, it seems a bit ridiculous. It's like, if I say this, if I click my heels 3 times, I'm going to end up back in Kansas. But here's the thing. It goes so much deeper than the mindset work. Mindset work, yes, that's a part of it, but it's just like a band-aid to internal bleeding. There's something going on beneath the surface. And this woman, that I'm telling you about in the story, she knows that. She's a smart, educated, talented woman. And she realizes that often the logical mind is going to want to take over and it's going to love to eat up those affirmations. I'm just going to say it and I'm going to think it into happening. Well, there's a lot more going on than just thinking. Yes, that's a piece of it, but bigger pieces get missed. So what I encourage you to do is take that moment to recognize, beating, when that happens, that beating up of themselves. Practice the art of forgiveness with things like Ho'oponopono. It's very sacred, wonderful practice. Now, the next thing that often happens is getting stuck, right? Especially in a mindset of, the world is against them, right? They get stuck in this feeling of like, no matter what I do, no matter what I try, I'm just not getting the promotion. They always hire outside the company for management. What is going on? Or no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, I'm just not reaching my ideal client. They're not hearing me. It's a frustration, and that frustration is real. So when it comes to decision time and trying to figure out, what do I do, in order to reach the right people? What do I do to stand out to the management, to go for that promotion or be chosen for the speaking opportunity? This is where often I'll bring together a blend of practices for my clients, where it helps them shift the focus from outside of themselves, like, what's wrong? Like, why am I not getting this? Like, what do I have to do to get this? What do I have to prove? Because we're looking often to prove ourselves outside. But the practice that really has the greatest impact is the internal work that often is done through cultivating the garden of the heart. And this can be achieved through a metta practice. And that's a wonderful practice of loving kindness. And it's amazing what begins to happen because we start to shift not only the mind, right? Because yes, mental, mindset, attitudes, important, but there is an energetic component that often gets missed, that emotional feeling, right? Because somebody can say, it's fine, everything's okay, as much as they want, but you feel it, everything is not fine. So we can try to talk ourselves, into certain situations, but there's that emotional component that really needs to be addressed. And then finally, the next thing that often happens that I see with people, like in the story that I'm sharing with you, is that they start to blame themselves for a lot of these patterns happening again over and over, like, oh, I've done it again. It's happening again. How did I end up here? And there's that moment of recognizing and realization that it goes beyond them, that just like our brown eyes and our brown hair or dirty blonde might get passed down genetically from the family, there are certain energetic beliefs and traits and emotions that also get passed down. Maybe you grew up with it, like there's a common phrase, like, what do you think? Money grows on trees? Or, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. There are all these sayings, you play in the gutter, the dirt rubs off, and we pattern them we weave them into our energetic being. And there's this moment where it sneaks up and sabotages when you're trying to make decisions. So one thing to really go back, a filter to run decision making through, is practicing that art of love, of forgiveness. The second thing is identifying the spots where it feels like us against them. Identifying that spot where a loving kindness practice can really make an energetic shift. And then finally, the last component, which is so powerful, is saying, you know what? This might go beyond this moment. This might actually go back for ancestral generations. It's a karmic pattern that has been repeated over and over and over again. And this can be cleared. And that's what I bring my clients through. I teach them how to clear, not only for themselves, but for the whole ancestral line, so that the same patterns don't have to keep happening to their children and their children's children, to future generations, because we don't want to see them suffering. So thank you for joining me today. And if you're ready to take the next step in this journey, I encourage you, click the link and continue, advance and play and explore. I'd love, love, love to continue this adventure with you. All right, so I'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks so much for being here. Deb, hello. What joy to see you here. And Katie too. Have a fabulous day. Bye, guys.